Thank you.
Not even 5 months since they celebrated their election, and a whole new generation of MPs having to vote on one of the biggest law changes of recent times.
Has it kept you awake?
It has, actually, yes.
And there's no party line to follow. It's down to the conscience of each MP.
It's dizzying. The way we vote on Friday will change the future of how we treat death in this country.
I'll do a bit of a welcome, a bit of an intro.
Dan Tomlinson is a new Labour MP who's been listening to voters gathered at a church in his North London constituency.
I genuinely don't know which way I will vote on Friday, which is getting quite difficult because Friday is fast approaching.
Contrary to some opinion polls, the mood in this gathering is mostly against the bill.
It's called assisted dying. I think it should be called assisted suicide because we already have assisted dying in this country, and it's called palliative care.
This is what this bill does. It glorifies us as doctors. It glorifies our ability to prognosticate, so to determine who will die within 6 months. We are not good at that. We know we are not good at that.
We have a house full of wonderful new MPs who are getting to grips with this whole new life. This should never be being debated now. It's far too quick.
Thank you, everybody, for giving up your evening.
New Labour MPs, like Dan Tomlinson, make up nearly 40% of the Commons now. Their backgrounds might suggest they'd be overwhelmingly pro-assisted dying, but they're more evenly split.
You know, when I was younger, for sure, I think I was quite pro-assisted dying in the sense of control and choice that it might give. But when you're an MP, it's not about your personal choice. You're legislating on behalf of your constituents.
This bill's been a journey for you.
Absolutely, yes.
You see it in the same category as homosexual law reform, abortion, some of the big issues.
To some degree, but there are important distinctions, and I listen to colleagues who I haven't come to the same conclusion as them, talking about protections for those with disabilities or the concerns around coercion.
And they're making what you'd consider very socially liberal arguments.
Yeah, they are. So
it doesn't quite fit.
It doesn't quite fit neatly into a socially progressive arc of history.
Of those who are in the Cabinet, 6 ministers have openly said they are against the bill, including the Health Secretary and the Justice Secretary. Slightly more Cabinet members have openly said they're for the bill. And the Prime Minister's widely expected to back assisted dying, but won't confirm that ahead of the vote.
I've obviously got a huge amount of interest and experience in this, having looked at every single case for 5 years that was ever investigated. You know, I will therefore be casting my vote tomorrow.
The whips say whenever there's a free vote, they always get a few MPs leaning in and saying, go on, which way do you really want me to vote? And some of them also just keep an eye out for where the leader of the party is going and might follow Keir Starmer, maybe into the Ayes lobby. What's your message to them, those MPs?
I think the number of those I've seen who are actually waiting to be told how to vote, you know, is very few. To any who are, they must consult their conscience.
That's the thing that I'm really sort of thinking through.
MP Dan Tomlinson found a pro-bill majority when constituents gathered at a local synagogue in Barnet. He says he'll make up his mind listening to tomorrow's Commons debate.
The thoughts that I hear from these MPs and other people who've spoken in the same vein seem to me constantly to harp on the people who wish to die don't actually know their own minds.
If we have the right to choose how we live our lives, we have the right to choose how we die.
There are lots of different reasons why people are saying that they won't vote for the change. Lots of them, I may say, I don't find very, very convincing.
Some in the Labour leadership, including some of those sympathetic to the measures in this bill, worry that it could become a millstone for the government, attracting hostility, distracting from the government's main messages, and potentially crawling through the House of Commons, only to be brought down by opposition in the House of Lords. How the votes of the new Labour MPs break down on Friday could determine whether those fears are tested.